Now, don't let the pink cutesy, am I saying that right? Costume fool you. This lady has monster moves inside the ring, and the action she displays truly brings joy to loyal Puso Wrestling fans. Please welcome to the BNC studio, we have Patricia Ligaia.
Hello, Patricia. Welcome to the Scorecard.
Thank you for having me.
Very comfortable outfit yan, no?
Yep, her outfit trumps your photo shoot outfit, Erica. Welcome, Patricia. You are officially the third Puso wrestler to guest here on the Scorecard, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And for the record, I think you look beautiful.
Narinig mo yun.
They're trained to do that, Erica. They're trained to have witty comebacks. Kailangan mabilis yan. Hindi pwedeng nakatunganga ka lang sa ring, di ba? You have to have a comeback. So that's a good start.
Galing.
Okay, so the joy of Philippine wrestling, that's kind of what you're about. Pink obviously gives off very positive vibes. Paano ba nagsimula yung pagmamahal mo sa wrestling? I know you're a late bloomer.
Yung love ko for wrestling, as you mentioned, I'm a late bloomer. So it started 2018. So 6 years pa lang since then. But from that time, I've done my best to be updated, to continuously support Pinoy and Pinay wrestling. And now I'm here. For some reason, like one thing led to the other. I just joined a pro wrestling preparatory course. And then suddenly I was doing drills, I was doing rolls, and then I debuted around 2023. So now I'm here.
Okay, I want to go back to that moment in 2018 kasi I know that what fueled your interest for wrestling started actually when you watched a show here in the Philippines, correct? So what was it specifically about that show that made you realize na, you know what, I want to do this. I want to do this also.
I think the thing with that show that made me feel something was just seeing the action like very up close to me. And other than getting to know the wrestlers with the storylines, watching the action, seeing the hard-hitting things happening in the ring, I think it was the community that made me fall in love. When you're a Pinoy wrestling fan, and especially when you're a Pinoy wrestler, you're surrounded by people who have the same love for something.
Right.
And that was something that drew me in. And definitely, I didn't think I was gonna be a Pinay wrestler, but I fell in love with it, and then now I'm here, so.
Okay, let's talk about your in-ring persona because I think this is something that not always lands when one decides to enter pro wrestling. They have to be able to draw the crowd to himself or herself. So this pink hearts, how did you come up with this character?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a character because this is just who I am. When people get to know me in the ring and when they see me outside the ring, like even if you just see me, for example, in the supermarket, you'll see me wearing pink because I really love pink. And I think there's a joy in keeping the things that I love with me in the ring. So that's like the hearts, everything girly, and that's also where Pinay wrestling is coming from. Just the representation of different kinds of women, and I'm just one of those girls that you see bringing the things she loves in the ring.
I love that you said that, you know, putting empowerment in like women empowerment most especially, and hindi din nagtatapos ang March. I mean, it's still naghahabol pa tayo sa Women's Month, right? So in line with this, because it's also Women's Month, as being one of the first few female wrestlers here in the Philippines, what are some of the challenges that you had to undergo as a female wrestler here in the country, and how did you overcome that?
Well, we're still overcoming it. But there's the challenge, as you said, there are just a few right now. Like, of course, we can't deny there have been those that have also trained and debuted before me. But the challenge is definitely growing the scene. So there's me, there's Super P, there's Chelsea Marie, Joya, Crystal, and then newly debuted Ramona. So all of that, we're just 6 in our roster. And don't be fooled. We're actually the biggest women roster in Southeast Asia. So the Philippines is actually doing good progress when it comes to that. But the challenge really is to keep building our women's division so we don't just disappear out of nowhere. Like we've heard stories of that from before, like promotions. I'm part of a former company in the Philippines, and it's really just something that you can also see even in the boys Pinoy wrestling, how we continuously push forward and we continuously, for lack of a better term, grind to make the scene known and to keep the industry alive.
I love that. Abante babae. Oh, diba?
Ito kasi pag nanood ka ng iba't ibang wrestling in Southeast Asia, I think in Puso Wrestling, dito mo makikita kadalasan yung sa isang match, may mga babae at may mga lalaki. How's the dynamic? Kasi syempre, minsan, hindi natin maiwasan yung mga lalaki. Sometimes, I'm just saying sometimes, not all the time, they take it easy. But how does that work when it comes to wrestling being a very dangerous and sport wherein everybody has to be on the same page na you have to protect each other out there?
Well, as you said, dangerous siya. But the thing with pro wrestling, especially Puso Wrestling, we know that there's a danger coming into what we're doing. And we also don't really think that, hey, kunyari ako, kalaban ko lalaki. I don't really think na he's gonna go easy on me, the same way I wouldn't go easy on him. It's really just the respect that comes with pro wrestling. Whenever we train in the same dojo, we do the same drills, we do the same basic fundamentals, everything that we do. And as cliche as it sounds, there's really no difference between the way we treat women and we treat men in Puso Wrestling. So yes, you're right. Sometimes there are differences like in the way we approach things. But the thing is, most especially in Puso Wrestling, if you think that that's something that should be practiced or upheld, well, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, especially the girls, we give the boys a hard time and they give us a hard time.
Very in tune with Women's Month. Okay, Patricia, do you have any signature moves? What are your signature moves? How did you create them? Maybe you can share with us.
Well, in pro wrestling, most of our signature moves, they stem from our strengths. So, as someone who's very fun and someone who likes to bring my personality in the ring, my signature moves, you can see it being played here.
Oh.
It involves a lot of flying. Sometimes I do this lariat that goes circular, so I spin in the ring. There, that one!
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So, ta-da! That's called my wee lariat.
So it's like a spinning clothesline.
Yes.
For a few seconds, I just visualized myself doing that to Anton on the ring.
Wow! Wow! Okay.
Ooh, I'm feeling tension.
That, I will say that won't be a good idea. Subukan mo lang, ha? Subukan mo lang, Erica.
Ang galing, ang galing. How long did you train for this?
Before I debuted, I was training for almost 2 years.
2 years
Yes.
pa, wow.
Because I started from Nueva Ecija, which is like 4 hours away from NCR. And there was a time when I would travel from Nueva Ecija, I'd go to our dojo to train, and then I'd go back. So it took a long time for me to digest everything. So more than a year, almost 2 years.
You've come a long way. Parang yung sinasabi nila lagi sa social media, malayo na, pero malayo pa.
Yes.
On a final note, before we end this interview, siguro maraming mga kababaihan na nanonood ngayon and, you know, they're young just like you, they have a dream. What is your message to them with regards to believing in yourself and chasing that dream no matter how hard it may seem sometimes?
Well, I want to say, just go for it. Because personally, like I said, I never really imagined I'd be doing what I'm doing right now. And what's important, which I think a lot of people have already said, is just really taking the first step in doing that. So if you think that it's difficult, for example, to break into a field that's, for example, Pinoy wrestling, that's male-dominated, it's really just doing the first step and existing as who you are. Because you'll see the difference between having one Pinay wrestler. Now imagine 6 Pinay wrestlers in a very male-dominated field. So I hope that they can achieve their dreams that way too.
And because Erica was so inspired by that bit, expect her at training this weekend.
Come train with us.
I'm gonna need to
Joke lang,
practice. I'll see you in the ring next week. Just kidding.
Patricia Ligaia, thank you so much and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.